Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Real View. Real views from real people, where we look at film, TV, music, and give our opinions on it, what we like, what we don't like, some topic discussion, analysis possibly, all that kind of good stuff. This episode, we are looking at Marvel's latest cinematic outing, Thunderbolts, asterisks. My name is Miles with a Y. I'm at Miles Reviews across all social media platforms, so give us a follow, see what's going on, and as per usual, like, share, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date with all the stuff I'm putting out on here. And as with every episode, there are time codes in the description, so time travel through this episode as you like, skip ahead, come back, loop around, anything you want to do. So the rating system used around here is a 3-tier one from top to bottom. It's tapping straight to my veins. This sandwich filling but not satisfying, and that ain't it. So how you guys doing out there? I hope you're well, hope you're enjoying stuff, and let me know in the comments below what kind of movies are you watching, what are you listening to at the moment, what's going on with you, and I hope you guys are safe and well and enjoying life. So, like I say, we are looking at Thunderbolts in this episode. Here is your cast call. We have Florence Pugh, Sebastian Stan, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Pullman, David Harbour, Wyatt Russell, John-Kamen, Olga Kurylenko, and Geraldine Viswanathan. I hope I got those names right. I'm so sorry if I butchered any of them. But yeah, I checked this out opening weekend over the bank holiday in the UK, and it was an experience, and I'm glad I got to see it. But we're getting to my thoughts right now. All right then, shall we talk about Thunderbolts? Yeah, why not? All right, so what's this all about then, Governor? Yelena, played by Florence Pugh, John Walker, Wyatt Russell, Ava, John-Kamen, and others, including a mysterious man named Bob, Louis Pullman, are forced to work together in order to escape a deadly trap and save each other, and maybe the world. Directed by Jake Schreier, written by Eric Pearson and Joanna Calo, based on the comics and characters created by Kurt Busiek, Mark Bagley, Paul Jenkins, Jas Lee, Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, et al. As usual, I am extremely apologising for anything I messed up there, any names, I'm sorry about that. So I thought this movie was really cool. It was better than I thought it was going to be. I wouldn't say I didn't have high hopes, but it's just that I don't know. I just kind of went in. I kind of went in with an open mind, but also I wasn't expecting too much. Yeah, it was just it was a decent movie. It had some good action pieces. It was funny in like sort of a more earnest way than some of the other Marvel movies. Although it still kind of had that tone, of some of the previous ones, but I just found the jokes landed a bit better and were a bit more earned in this one. Overall, it was the story and the characters that really won me over in this one. All the other stuff was cool, but alone does not a good movie make, as we know from previous outings. But yeah, this one, it was decent. I enjoyed it, and I saw some comments or promotions like best Marvel movie since Endgame. Calm down. Well, I don't know. At least I'll be more inclined to say that if they were trying to say it was as good as Infinity War, because for me that is the top tier, and I don't think you can just easily surpass that because it's not, I said it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not taking it back. But no, it's a pretty good time, and it was definitely more entertaining overall than Brave New Bad Man America. No disrespect to Anthony Mackie and team, but yeah, it just that film, especially now that I've had some time, it was still a decent film, but this was definitely a better one. I like the characters and I like the directions they took them in. So yeah, overall this was a decent movie. And what else can I talk about without spoiling it? Like I say, it looks decent. I didn't want it to be like so sort of grey and down. I wish it was a bit more colourful. Like for instance, like the boys, like they have these colourful costumes and that, and but it's still like a really sort of like dreary, grimy world. But there's still that pop of colour and vibrancy in some of the characters' costumes. I understand why you couldn't do that in this, because obviously a lot of them are Actually, no, I'll leave that for spoilers if I remember to come back to it. But yeah, it's just yeah, the look of the movie kind of made sense in the end. And yeah, I'm not mad at it. And like I say, it was a good time. It was a good watch in what it dealt with, and the way it gave time to the gave more time to some of the characters over others. But I feel I got a general understanding and relatability from where they were coming from, in terms of like, you know, that sort of ragtag misfits just thrown together on this mission, really. And yeah, it works, you know, kind of like a Guardians of the Galaxy / Suicide Squad kind of vibe. But obviously, you know, with those, you get different results for different reasons. But I think this was like kind of a mishmash of that, if you will. Yeah, so overall, I was feeling this movie, man. Tapping straight to my veins. Okay, so yeah, let's get into spoilers now. So, first of all, I just want to say my alternative title for this is Trauma Vaults rather than Thunderbolts, because there's a lot of like trauma to deal with, you know. Like each character has gone through or is going through stuff. Yelena, played by Florence Pugh especially, seems to be struggling with where she's at in the world. I mean, everyone is, but as she's kind of the lead of this movie, you see it a lot through her. And I liked the themes of like loneliness, depression, lack of self-worth, and, you know, self-doubt, just feeling inadequate. And like real talks, you know, talking as a human, not just a guy trying to make a podcast here. Yeah, lately I've kind of like I had been kind of feeling not great really, and not to go too deep, but that kind of spoke to me. You know, I kind of needed this movie in a way, because you know, with you may have noticed I wasn't posting as much if you follow me on socials and stuff, and it wasn't that I didn't want to, it's just that I didn't feel like it, you know when like you just been kind of at it for so long, and you just start feeling the weight of having to try and keep that up, I guess. And it was a little bit of that, and a little bit of, you know, all kinds of things. But I remember even in the like opening credits of this film, I was still like feeling heavy, like just in general, like anxious about the world outside and stuff like that, rather than just, I literally had to like, you know, consciously tell myself like, just breathe and just enjoy the movie. And yeah, with the themes that a lot of these characters are go through throughout the movie, I just kind of had like a eureka moment almost, in that you know, I've been kind of feeling this way and feeling a bit like I don't know, I guess feeling like I was feeling lazy, or at least not motivated, like I didn't really have the spark. And, you know, sometimes, you know, in life you go through these things and whatever, but yeah, I just couldn't really put first of all, I didn't really take the time to sort of self-reflect on it, so, and because of that I had to just, and, you know, life goes on, so I had to keep going through the motions, go to work, do whatever, you know, look after the family and all that, and just I couldn't really put a name to it. I couldn't really understand what it was making me feel this way, and, you know, this film really kind of helped me figure that out, so I'm thankful for that. And I know it's just a comic book movie, and I don't know, maybe the writers felt we're trying to do that or whatever, or trying to be more than just that, but yeah, it connected with me in this instance. I mean, had I not been feeling that way, maybe I'd feel a bit different about the movie. But yeah, you know, other than the soul searching and rejuvenation of myself, it was definitely entertaining. So yeah, it was a good one. Thanks to everyone involved in making it. I appreciate this movie for what it is and what it might not have been meant to be, but what it did for me anyway, so that's cool. But yeah, anyway, not to just gloss over mental health and all that, but let's move on from that. But yeah, that's how I felt about it. Yeah, so moving on to one of the characters, John Walker, absolute jerk in this. Like, Wyatt Russell did a really great job of just, he was just very unlikable. But like, I was even rooting for him, you know, after a little while, because, you know, you kind of get to, like I say, they do some decent character work in this, and you do kind of get to, I guess, move with them and see them grow or lack of growth or wherever they're at. You just, you actually see it, and it's not just all jokes, you know what I mean? Yeah, I liked kind of the way they, with those themes of like loneliness and depression and all that again, is the way that manifests through Bob, who becomes Sentry, and how he kind of like seemingly destroys just ghosts all of New York or whatever, but actually they're being consumed by their darkness and their darker emotions and all that kind of stuff. So through it via Sentry. But yeah, it was interesting to see that play out. But going back to John Walker again, I just found it hilarious how at the end, that little montage of the press of the new Avengers. And yeah, I know I'm skipping ahead here, but basically the Thunderbolts become the new Avengers thanks to the spinniest spin doctor in the world, Valentine. I can't remember the rest of the name, I'll get back to her. But yeah, it's just funny. In one of those shots, he basically his shield got bust up and bent and it looked like a taco, but in one of those magazine covers, he is riding the taco like an all-American Bronco kind of thing, and it just made me laugh. When I was seeing like the trailers and the promo for this, I was wondering how Bucky, played by Sebastian Stan, would get tangled up on this, because obviously he's now a senator and all that kind of stuff, so he's kind of having to do stuff by the book. It was quite funny to see him try and navigate that as well, because obviously he's used to like being a kind of brawler and getting questions that way or getting answers that way or whatever, but in this he has to try and be a bit more suave about it, and you kind of see him getting his diplomacy and using that kind of status as it, and then basically just chucks it all away and is like, look, I need to get these guys in when he thinks they're working for Valentina, and just to try and bring her down. I like the way he kind of goes from congressman to so desperate to shut down Valentina that he kind of goes into like a lone ranger trying to bring down the outlaws, and then eventually becomes a teammate. And I thought the way they did that progression, the way they worked really well with the story. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, she was great as Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. There you go. Possibly the greatest spin doctor in the MCU, maybe even in the real world. There's a few of them that seem to keep winning. But anyway, but yeah, she's even a better spin doctor than Doctor Strange with a sling ring. Even when I thought that joke, I was like, that's not really funny, but I just had to get it out of me. What can I say? It's almost like verbal diarrhea. But I liked her relationship with her assistant / aide, Mel, played by Geraldine Viswanathan. Yeah, and I really liked Geraldine Viswanathan in this as well. She was she really towed the line. Like, you could see that she genuinely wasn't a bad person, but she was being forced into these grey areas and then almost leaving, but then like knowing that if she left, she would still feel that responsibility when she could have done something, even if it was just kind of like just trying to steer it just a little bit out of madness. And yeah, she just played it really well, and I think like the character was great. When I saw, because I didn't really look into this movie too much, but when I saw her on the press one, I was like, oh snap! Have they replaced Taskmaster? I just assumed that she was playing Taskmaster now, even though that is such like an egregious recasting, because it's almost like blind casting. But yeah, that wasn't the case. And speaking of Taskmaster, like, wow, she got done dirty, boy. Like, for the second time, like in the first movie, she barely gets to speak, being the only sort of Eastern European character in a movie about Eastern European characters, Eastern European person, as far as I know, in a movie about Eastern European characters. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this version of the character, but I just feel like she deserved more, man. She just got a point blank shot in the face within 15 minutes of screen time. That's so harsh, man. She got a couple lines, but again, wow. Like, we didn't really get to see the person she became after the events of Black Widow, like I say, she was just basically like a muted puppet in that, and now you just deaded her without even getting to say anything harsh. But hey, it is what it is. Like I say, I'm not a huge fan of that character, but I don't know. Could have been something. Could have been. I don't know. I don't feel like her death was necessary. We got that these guys are on a mission, and are just willing to do whatever to clear their names and all that thing. But boy, I don't know about that one. In the end, though, I bought that every one of them, would, when Valentina spun it, that they're new Avengers. I bought that every one of them would want to be a new Avenger. Obviously David Harbour's Red Guardian goes without saying. That man is just like, he's all about wanting to do good and the glory that comes with it. But at the end of the day, they're all just misfits, isn't it? They're just seeking redemption, belonging. They want to be seen as doing good, sort of like like I said, sort of like an Earthbound Guardians of the Galaxy dynamic rather than Suicide Squad, even though it was a bit of a mishmash, but like more, I'd say more on trying to go more for the Guardians of the Galaxy side, which I thought this might have been the Marvel version of Suicide Squad, to be honest, when I first heard about it. But yeah, it had a like earnestness and nice kind of family dynamic to it, more so than the Suicide Squad. But that's the same thing I like it for what it is. Yeah, I love as well how at the end Bob's just hanging in the tower. He's got amnesia basically when he goes through his kind of massive crisis. It wasn't explicitly said, but I feel like that character basically has bipolar, and when he's going through his downs, he kind of resets, and that's what kind of happened there. But I just find it funny how he's just hanging out, not really using his powers, because he's like the most dangerous and unbalanced member of the team. So him being there is kind of just like them keeping him in check. But it'll be interesting to see how, if he spins out again, what happens then? Like, you know what I mean? Will he lose it? What's going on? As soon as I saw, as I was sitting there waiting for the credit, because you know how Marvel just loves to keep you hostage. But as soon as I was there, like, waiting for the last credit, I knew before I saw it that it would be something to do with the Fantastic Four. Only because as I was reading some of the credits, I noticed that they credited the Fantastic Four First Steps theme. Wow, what a mouthful. I'm looking forward to having to review that. That's going to be really professional sounding. But yeah, since I heard that, saw that they credited that theme, I was like, okay, they're going to give us a little something there. They're going to give us a little something. And yeah, it was cool. Also, like I say, welcome back to Marvel holding you hostage after the film. Like, I appreciate everyone's involvement in the film, unless they're trash. And I will admit, sometimes I'm genuinely interested. But I don't need to be reading it all whilst my bladder is about to burst, or I'm gearing up to summon what little energy I had left to go home. You know what I mean? Put the post-credits in sooner. That's all I'm asking. But, who am I kidding? This is the world we live in now. Even non-comic book films are doing it. So you got to strap yourselves in. I mean, look at Sinners, man. That's a long movie. And then, spoilers for Sinners, you got that mid-credits scene that's just like a short film in itself. And then you got to wait again for a little other post-credit scene. So, yeah, it just is what it is, isn't it? Love to see Wendell Pierce in the MCU playing that congressman. Don't know what he was called, can't remember. But usually when you have like in these movies, especially in these kind of movies, you have this kind of political backdrop, they can get a bit boring / by the numbers. But I enjoyed some of that stuff in this. I thought it was quite funny, quite interesting. Didn't go on for too long as well. And I liked it because I liked the characters in it as well. So, so let's talk about the stunt at the top of the movie where Florence Pugh, Yelena Belova, I can't remember her real name, character's name, Yelena, jumps off the top of that building. It was impressive, man. And, well done to Florence and team for doing it. I must say, though, the way it was banged on about in many a press release kind of hyped it too much for me. Like, when it happened, I didn't really appreciate what was happening, you know what I mean? But, don't get me wrong, it's impressive, but I didn't fully appreciate it. But, like I say, great promotion. I can't fool that, Definitely. I mean, I think they set a world record with that, didn't they? So, well done to them, So there was a member of the Black Ops, the Ox group. Is that what they called? Ox. At first I thought it said Ox Corps, but I think it's Ox Corp. Oscorp, sorry, but it's Ox group or whatever. And so there's an agent in there called Holt or Soldier or whatever he was, and I got very distracted when he was mentioned because I was like, Holt, where do I recognise that name from? And I didn't, and I don't know if he's supposed to be a significant Marvel character either, but I realised later on that I was thinking of Lieutenant Holt or Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You know what I mean? And that just totally distracted me for a good while. And, that's my brain. That's my fault. Nothing to do with the movie. But, yeah, I mean, 9-9, innit, And rest in peace, Andre Braugher, man. He's brilliant. Miss that guy. Okay, so Red Guardian, just still doing his cringy thing. And next to Yelena, in this outing, he was the cringiest of the cringe. But in a nice way, And next to Yelena's character, he's like the supporting heart of the team, or maybe like a support machine, I love support machine, but yeah, he kind of was like I wouldn't say kind of moral compass, but more like he was definitely there to give the not even inspiring speeches, but just the we can do this kind of speech, often ignored, but yeah. And I liked that he came to rescue them in his Red Guardian limo, which was just great. I got to say though, even though they spoiled most of it in the trailer, that when Bucky shows up to take them down, I just thought that was brilliant. The way he's chucking bombs and stuff, and I had that little gun bomb thing, and brilliant. Also, I love to see him washing his robotic arm in the dishwasher, cybernetic arm, because actually. That must get pretty funky, innit? Just I don't know how it works. I don't know how it works because it's still got the sort of joining to his torso, innit? To his shoulder. I don't know. This is what happens when you think about stuff too much. You know what I mean? You just had these boring little conversations with yourself. But yeah, I am genuinely surprised at how much I had to say about this film. I really did enjoy it, and like I say, it did really connect with me on a personal level. And without that, would I have liked it as much? I think I probably still would have, given it a tap it straight to my veins. It probably just wouldn't have been as deep for me. And I don't know if on a second watch, being in a better place now, that I would start that connection. But I don't know, I'd still remember it and what it kind of helped me get through. So, this was, that aside, I think this is a decent movie. It kind of had I was hoping it would have that kind of indie vibe. And in places it did. Yeah, it was definitely different from other Marvel movies. I would say it's a very hard 12. There's a hard 12A, should I say, in its rating. Because, language is slightly colourful, not as colourful. Still not very gory and stuff. And I feel like even the way they manifested Bob becoming the villain, I like the effect of people just sort of being ghosted and transported to this sort of their own nightmare trauma rooms or whatever. I feel like also that was a good way of sort of getting past some blood and gore, because how can there be any if people just disappear? So, but I must say that as a New Yorker, or as anyone really, in this Marvel cinematic universe, when stuff like that starts happening, people just disappearing, you must be absolutely triggered, because you must think, oh my gosh, it's like Thanos is back again. You know what I mean? If it was me, I'll be caught up in the corner fetal position, no, I can't do this again. Especially if it's someone I've lost, if I was stuck behind, I'll do it. But anyway, overall, this was a good movie. I really enjoyed it, and I think definitely the best so far out of Marvel's Phase 5. I've lost count now. I don't know where we are, but whatever phase we are, whatever they're doing at the moment, this is the best one so far. So let's see how we do for the next one. I'm intrigued to see Fantastic Four First Steps. I think I'm going to enjoy it, but I just I'm looking forward to how different that's going to be as well. That's what I like. Loads of different things. Don't just do the same thing over and over again unless it works for that story, if you know what I mean. Okay? Marvel, if you're listening. You listening, guys? Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, tap it straight to my veins. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on Thunderbolts asterisks. I'm gonna start sending asterisks soon, but yeah, if you've seen it, you know. And when you spoil, you know, you will pass spoilers. Anyway, what am I talking about? Yeah, what did you think about the movie? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Are you going to see it? Are you interested in any of this, or are you done with all the comic book movies? Are you just done with MCU and Marvel and told? Let me know in the comments below. I'm interested to find out. And as usual, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm Miles with Weiss at Miles Reviews. You can follow me across all social platforms, and of course, if you subscribe here, you stay up to date with all the stuff I'm putting out on this channel. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, for watching this episode. I hope you lot are good out there and having a good time enjoying film, TV, and music, but most importantly, life. Once again, my name is Miles Reviews. Take care. I'll see you in the next one. God bless and all the rest.